Organized and presented by Umin아트센터 and the Museum of Photography, Seoul, CONCRETOPIA is part of a project to promote exhibition space for art, spreading exhibition contents concentrated in the capital area to local areas. As a strong supporter of Korean photography's next generation, CONCRETOPIA is an exhibition of 3 artists who captured the city: Haewon-kum, Hong-yeol-pak, and San-hyuk-yoon. They have focused on the urban life that they are living in, or to be more precise, the urban breakdowns induced by putting development before everything else. For the 30s and 40s in South Korea, the city are places where they were born, where they spent their childhood and developed their self-identity. These generations are familiar with the new ways of life rather than tradition, and are familiar with the convenient lifestyle of apartments with concrete steel structures. They also experienced a variety of life processes in rapidly changing pop culture and urban structures. The 3 artists with these common points pay attention to the city's identity, its history, and the ecology of changing cities and the institutions created by itself. The exhibition title CONCRETOPIA comes from the words concrete and utopia. Concrete came to symbolize speed, and it was also valid in the Korean society that has walked the path of development since the 1960s. Many of what was there before were replaced in concrete, and the concrete was once again torn down to be replaced with new piece of concrete. Meanwhile, ironically enough, we have regarded this consistent substitute as a highly durable material, therefore the perfect choice to robustly support the better life we dream of. Haewon-kum, Hong-yeol-pak, and San-hyuk-yoon, who are participating in the exhibition, say CONCRETOPIA that once indicated a timely and finally completed city of ideal is no longer true, and rather it came to indicate the distorted fantasy, causing a wide variety of social issues in reality. They select and observe unanticipated locations or objects because they have become too familiar or were hidden away. The 3 artists ask what is the utopia we have dreamed of and what it has aimed at. Haewon-kum. Blue Territory series intended to express the voids and breaks created after the swift change has swept over the place in the course of redevelopment where the old and outdated are constantly deleted. The blue tarpaulin used to prevent submersion in demolition sites and the way it covers the massive ruins were like the moment when violence penetrates into everyday life and the negative side of redevelopment. Blue Territory is a title that separates the class of people who are compelled to leave and repeatedly converting the city into an obscure place, like the land that is conquered and expanded under the logic of development. Though these somewhat surreal images composed of exaggerated colors and expanded screens, Kum tried to paradoxically express the scars hidden behind the blue surface. The Urban Death series is about the waste disposal facilities located in the city's deep underground, a project showing Kum interest in the artificial surroundings of the underground world and their invisibility. The massive underground space continuously swallows and digests the city's filth without our knowing. Yet, although this space actually exists in the heart of Seoul, it only does so by following the tacit laws requiring such places to be covered or be disguised as parks or squares because they are despised. This is the coexistence and compensating compromise of disparity and the nature of a city where there are multiple layers of desire. In this series, Kum is emphasizing the primitive colors and unique textures created by the wetness to this space. She tried to highlight the unfamiliar side of the city's daily life that has been concealed. Hong-yeol-pak. Figure Project series physically transforms untrodden natural space and documents the changes made from an aerial viewpoint. Pak create a variety of visual elements by applying physical experiments and actions to part of nature in large ordinary places far from downtown and away from people's attention. The objects created in this process are variable scenes that disappear after being photographed. Figure Project is largely dependent on 2 methods. First, a natural space is reconstructed 3-dimensionally by digging into it or adding to it. This modified approach is then photographed from above. This process enables me to approach humanity's defined violence metaphorically and an obscuration of the size of the form. Second, an actual person is adopted in abstract form, and the person appears structuralized along with his installation. The person occupies a space of cloth and thread, generating another realm in a different form. The Captured Nature series features installations in which nature is physically captured and the humans who perform this action. Bach escaped the system made by humanity's desire to govern nature through actions and persons who tried to reconstruct nature, documenting the irregularity arising from this process. What's interesting is that some spaces Bach had visited for several years look just as they did for the first time, while others have been completely altered by the addition of sassy buildings or well-appointed parks. Natural spaces might soon be very rapidly transformed if they meet any economic or social value of our time. Sang-hyuk Yoon. Urban Landscape series would like to raise questions about territories between culture and nature. He has an impression that we human beings dig up the ground and construct our own world for ourselves, not for animals, plants, and Mother Nature. I believe that the Earth has been reimagined and needs. But how do animals and plants fit into or accept this situation and space? They may embrace this new world as their environment, but spaces built by humans' desire recreate nature and strip it of its true character. Yoon presents a series of photographs capturing the ironical scenes where nature is formed within the artificial environment created by urbanites as they scar the nature. Starting from sympathy towards nature, he shows how contradicting and incomplete urbanites are, who abandon nature only to search for nature again.